Hi, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. My name is Megan, and I'm also known as Nightingale Tarot. I'm a certified nurse midwife by day and often by night, who also happens to be a tarot master. I've been reading tarot for about 26 years as of 2024, and I've been teaching tarot for about the past 5 years. I also read Lenormand and regular playing cards, as well as runes, bones, oracles, so let me know in the comments if you're interested in seeing any of those other things for my videos in addition to tarot. You can find me in all the places by following the link tree in the description box below the video. That's where you'll learn how to contact me, as well as learn more about my services. You'll learn how to book several different types of private readings for yourself, or also malocchio, also known as evil eye removal. Most of my readings and services are virtual, via Zoom, phone, or sometimes even email, so you don't have to be living in Honolulu in order to get a reading from me. I love to read your comments, I love to answer your questions, and I love to engage with you here, so don't be shy with your comments, and don't hesitate to drop a request in that comment box if there's a specific topic you'd like to see me read on for you. If you like what you see, I'd greatly appreciate a quick click of the like and subscribe button from you. Don't forget to turn on notifications if you want to make sure you don't ever miss any new content. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. None of these decks are tarot decks. These are all oracle decks. I don't use oracle very often. It's never really been my preferred method of divination when it comes to cards. I've always strongly preferred tarot, but I do have a few great oracle decks, and I thought it might be nice to show off a couple of them today. The first deck is the Southern Gothic Oracle deck. The artist is Stacy Williams-Ung. She also runs a studio called La Panthera Studio. I have several of her decks. I actually have her most recent deck on Kickstarter that I am super excited about it coming in. It's on order right now. It should be shipped soon, and I can't wait for it. I'll definitely feature that in a future video. The next deck I'm using, which I have the box for, is the Threads of Fate, the Rose edition of this particular oracle deck. I've used Threads of Fate decks in other readings, but they're tarot decks, not their oracle deck, and this is the oracle deck. And the third deck is the Memento Mori Oracle. This is an interesting deck. It also has a Lenormand kind of built into it. If you just want to use the first cards, they become a Lenormand deck. The artist is Claire Goodchild. Very interesting also on this deck is Claire Goodchild has a podcast out where she talks about every single card in this deck and the story, like the folklore behind the imagery and why she chose it. So that's awesome. If you ever want to check that out, I highly recommend that. Today's topic will be letters from your future self. Remember, these are general readings. Each pile is for many people at once, so take what resonates with you and leave behind what doesn't. That message is for someone else. Don't worry, you'll have at least one really clear, direct message for you here today. Don't forget to follow the link tree in the description below to book a private and much deeper reading with me that's entirely specific to you and your situation on this or any other topic you'd like to look at with me. What do you do now? So now you need to think of your specific situation regarding today's topic. What questions would you like answered? And you'll pick a pile. If you need a little time, you can always pause the video here, but don't overthink it. Just take a deep breath, go with your gut. Your first instinct is usually best. Which pile are you most drawn to today? Keep in mind, if you come back and watch this video on a different day, or even rewatch it today with a different situation or question in mind, you might choose a different pile at that time. To skip the video directly to the pile you chose, you'll find the timestamps in the description below that you can click. So here are your piles. Pile 1, the Southern Gothic Oracle, and this little spell bottle. Pile number 2, the Threads of Fate Rose Edition Oracle and the Shaman's Rattle. Pile number 3, the Memento Mori Oracle deck and the California King Snake skin in the bottle. This is a real skin shed from a California King snake named Miles that I've had in this bottle for a few years. So take a second, find the one that resonates with you, and let's get started. Okay, pile 1, this is for you, the Southern Gothic Oracle and the Spell Bottle. This is a super cool Oracle deck. Like I said, I am not much for Oracle decks. I do not use them hardly at all. It is very rare for me to use an Oracle deck, but this particular deck is really near and dear to my heart. Because being a Southern girl, I recognize all of the imagery in this deck really readily and really easily because this is my stuff, right? This is my stuff. There was an expansion pack that came with this deck that I bought. It's been shuffled into this deck. So this is the original Southern Gothic, also including the Haunts expansion for it, in case you see cards coming out that you're like, that's not in my Southern Gothic deck. Well, that's because I have the expansion. So let's get some letters from your future self while you think about what you want to know. Okay, I'm going to stop here with these 3 cards because this looks to be actually a really specific message for some of you out there, maybe just one of you, I don't know, but this is a very specific message and it looks like it's likely regarding actually reincarnation. I feel like a group of you have questions about reincarnation, past lives, afterlife, sort of stuff in general. And this message here, for those of you who are asking about the idea of reincarnation, afterlife, that's what you're kind of wanting to get out of this reading. This is very much a message about turning inward, being quiet, being still, and kind of waiting for those answers to come to you. I think some of you are seeking. You are actively seeking like a message regarding this. I feel like you're doing things. You might be going to mediums. You might be, trying to do past life hypnosis or that kind of stuff. Like you're doing something to actively seek this information out. And the big message here is, if you are still and patient and quiet, this information is actually going to come to you. So rather than actively seeking out some of this information, my recommendation based on this is to turn inward, spend some time in deep meditation, and pay attention to dreams that are coming your way. When you're quiet and still and asleep in your most relaxed state, that's actually where your past life, afterlife messages are coming in. So for those of you who are looking for that letter from your future self regarding that subject, it's coming to you much more passively than you think. Like I said, through dreams, through meditation, maybe through passive signs that you're probably missing that are around you. Like pay close attention to what songs are on at certain times. Pay close attention to if somebody says something suddenly that really, really resonates with you in a like, wow, that's a crazy coincidence sort of way. Probably not a crazy coincidence, probably a message. So I'm actually going to pick these up and we're going to keep going with pile 1 and get some more letters from the future selves of my pile 1 people here. Because that was so specific, I just had to really stop for that. Pile 1. Many of you out there are, how do I word it? Kind of living your lives for other people, possibly living in fear of being your authentic self. There is this sort of, what will they think of me? Or, you know, what consequences will I have if I really like come out and I'm just my true, authentic self? Will I be loved for myself? And your future self wants to tell you, please stop being afraid of this. Please embrace your authentic self. Understand that your individualism is beautiful, is needed, and is valued. And everything out there that is telling you otherwise is simply just your own fear speaking to you. And once you're able to set that fear aside and live from a place of authentic love for yourself, you are just going to take off. Your life is just going to take off. So that's a very specific letter for some of you. And let's get one more and then we'll move on. All right, pile 1, there's a section of you that has undergone some significant trauma. And because of that trauma, you are, it looks like maybe engaging in maybe addictive behavior or behaviors that are not healthy for you. Really as a trauma response, not because this is who you are, but because this is a trauma response. And the letter from your future self is, rather than reacting from your trauma, react from a place of resilience, react from a place of growth from your trauma. Put down that victim mentality, because there's definitely a victim mentality here for a lot of you, where just taking on the role of victim has sort of become your identity, and you have so much more to offer than that. So the letter from yourself is, get rid of this addictive behavior now through whatever means you need to, whether that is through counseling, rehab, whatever, I don't know, whatever it is, and learn that you can abundantly grow so much more beyond the box that you've put yourself in. This trauma that you've experienced has kind of put you into a box that you're having a hard time breaking out of. But just like this kudzu vine, you essentially can thrive anywhere you are planted. You have what it takes to just explode out of this, having grown and learned through your experiences. And now is the time to do that. Your future self wants you to know that. So that is it for pile 1. Hopefully that helped you. I'm hoping you got some good letters from your future self that answered a few questions that you might have had or wanted to know about. And now we will move on to pile 2. In pile 2, this is you, the Threads of Fate, Rose Edition Oracle, and the Shaman's Rattle. So let's look at letters from your future self, pile 2, and see what your future self has to say to you. What advice do you have for yourself? Tapping into your higher consciousness and your wisdom, which is timeless. And let's see what we get. Like I said earlier, I don't really read Oracle very much. It's never really been my preferred method of cartomancy. I have a few really interesting Oracle decks that I have not so much to read with, but really just for the collector value and the art value of them. And I like Threads of Fate a lot. I have a couple of their decks that I love, and so I decided I wanted to get this Oracle deck too, kind of as a companion for their tarot decks that I have. But like I said, I don't read with it very often at all. Sometimes I'll take, 1 or 2 cards out here and there. So that's why I'm shuffling this deck so much, because it's been a long time since it's been handled. And I think it's important to get the energy really into the deck as you start to read with it, to make sure that it's kind of, I guess, awake and ready to talk to you. And now it looks like our deck is awake and we're ready. So let's get started with pile 1. Pile 2. Okay, pile 2. I feel like your future self wants to talk to you about finding balance between, there's like this, you have difficulty balancing, once again, let me fumble for my words while I try to figure out what I want to say. You have difficulty balancing activity and rest, or like actively seeking something versus turning inward and listening to your own personal gnosis and your own intuition for answers. And your future self wants you to find better balance between these things. And your future self actually wants you to practice turning more inwards, which is interesting because that's similar to a message I got actually for pile 1. For those of you who don't watch the video all the way through and you didn't watch pile 1 and you came straight to pile 2, similar message here. So apparently there's like a collective conscious thing going on right now where we need to rely more on our own intuition, our own opinions, our own personal knowledge, and not always be outwardly seeking. And that goes for like media consumption, thoughts about whatever's going on in the world, thoughts about what you should be doing about any particular thing. You need to draw firmer boundaries between your outside consumption of things and your internal knowing, because we all have that wisdom. So your future self wants you to know that you can trust that wisdom, and that internal wisdom is greater almost all of the times, in your case actually, pile 2, is greater than what you're getting when you're seeking outside. So the letter to you from your future self, your higher consciousness, wants you to seek inward more often and draw a firmer boundary. This may be you need a social media break. You might need to take a break from, going out for a while, things like that. Tap into your introverted aspects of your personality for a little while, and you will benefit greatly from that. So let's see if we can get more messages from pile 2. Love this. Love this. Pile 2. Let's see if we have a third card on this. Pile 2, you are my witches. You are my my seers. You are my those people. Your future self needs you to understand that not only can you manifest, but you can also deconstruct and break down. So yeah, pile 2, you are my powerful people of the group. You are my healers. Like I said, you are my witches, you're my seers, you're my sorcerers, you're my root workers, my conjure people, my magical people. Pile 2. And your future self needs you to be aware of this, because I think some of you might not be aware of this. I can make things happen. I can manifest. Everything you say is like a spell. If you wake up in the morning and say, it's going to be such a shitty day, it's going to be a shitty day. If you wake up in the morning and say, this is going to be amazing, or I have whatever, it's only a matter of time before you have that. So keep in mind, pile 2, how powerful your thoughts and your words and your actions are to both create, to also destroy, and to transmute, like this middle card here, to actually change your own path. My pile 2 people are writing their own story, and your future self wants to make sure you know that. So ask yourself what story you want to write. And if your question was, am I powerful? Am I whatever? Can I manifest? Can I do magic? This is a definite yes. So that was cool. Let's get one more message for you, pile 2, and then we'll move on to pile 3. Just flipped half of my deck over here. It wouldn't be a reading with me without me flipping cards, throwing cards. Okay. All right, pile 2. Once again, we're confirming that these are my wise women and wise men, my seers, my healers, my magicians, my pile 2 people. And I think that there is a large chunk of you who's actually quite afraid of that, because it defies logic. Right, when we're getting into like manifestation and, quantum, I don't even know how to word it, quantum, I don't want to say quantum physics because that makes it sound a little bit sciencey, but it is kind of quantum physics, but just that metaphysical sort of aspect of life, it defies logic, right? It doesn't always make sense. And when things don't make sense to us, we seek out answers and we need logic and we need, I'm that way too. I'm a very science, evidence-based person. And like, if you can't show me the evidence, it's difficult for me to get behind something. But my pile 2 people, you need to understand that some of the things that happen in your life, your future self wants you to know that you may never find the evidence or the logic or the science behind the phenomena that you experience. And it is important for you to embrace that aspect of yourself and to allow these things to flow through you. Allow yourself to gain wisdom from experiences that defy logic and you can't necessarily make good sense out of. Very important message for you, pile 2. Love yourself anyway. You're not crazy. You're powerful. And it's important to lean into that instead of be afraid of it. That's what your future self wants you to know. All right, pile 2. Yep. Pile 2 was that good reading today. Let's see what we get out of pile 3. All right, pile 3, we have the Memento Mori Oracle and the California Snake Skin donated by Miles, the California King Snake. And let's see what letters you have from your future self. Seriously, any of you who have this deck, who happen to have it and who haven't found the podcast yet, where she talks about every card and why that particular card was used, you should absolutely check it out, because it's very neat to hear her talk about the folklore behind each card. They're short little episodes, but she goes through each one and I love it. All right, pile 3. Also a very magical group of people. Pile 2 were like my magicians and my witches and my seers and my conjurers, and pile 3, you are no exception, except for you. You look like a lot of you are my diviners and my mediums, and you have an ability to turn within, and when you turn within, you are able to see without, and are probably very good at divining the future and also helping to shape and manifest the future. So pile 3 is also a very magical pile, which I love it. I love to know that these are the people that are coming for these readings. So your future self wants you to continue to, I guess, practice and hone these skills, because I feel like my pile 3 people are kind of on the beginning of this arc of discovery of your power, and especially your divination and your mediumship. And so your future self, A, wants you to know that you are going to get very, very good at these things, but B, only if you practice. So that's one letter to you from your future self. Let's see what else we get for different people in pile 3. Look at that. Same 2 cards wanted to come out again. We got it. We got the message. So pile 3, that's apparently really important from your future self, because it's coming out again. Okay. All right, pile 3. Also an important message for you. It is very important that you do not become involved in like manifestation or anything like that of essentially a door that you don't want to go through. So use your brain, understand the consequences of your actions. Kind of like Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. So it's important that you understand that some doors once open cannot be closed. I'm not sure exactly what this means for you, but these are letters from your future self. So this is you talking to you. So there's a chunk of you that probably understand this really well, who are maybe getting involved in something right now without really thinking it all the way through. And your future self absolutely wants you to not open any doors and walk through them without the understanding that these doors will not be able to be closed. So that's important, and I want you to take that, those of you who it's relevant to, and this isn't going to resonate with everybody, but I have a feeling those of you who picked this pile that this really resonates with them are going, oh yes, I know exactly what you're talking about right now. So think things out very carefully. Don't become intoxicated with the fact that you can do something without thinking about whether or not you should do something. It's a little bit of a warning with this message. Some doors open cannot be closed. Some doors closed cannot then be reopened. And that's a letter from your future self. All right, let's get one more for pile 3, and then we'll wrap it up. Look at that. Same cards coming out. Same cards. Same card again there for you. Pile 3. I just want one card, deck. Come on, give me one. Give me the most important one. We got to narrow it down here. All right. There it is. Okay, pile 3, be careful of the karma that you're collecting as you move through life. Understand that you're powerful enough that your words, your spoken words, are essentially spells. When you say, I wish whatever, or you're going to whatever, you're manifesting that. And if you're walking around manifesting bad things, you're collecting that karma. But if you're careful and you're using your words well and with care, and you're manifesting good things, you're collecting that karma. So your future self wants you to be very aware of the words, specifically of the words that you speak and how those words will come back to you. All right. Pile 3, those are letters from your future self. Hopefully that helped you and you feel like you gained a little bit of something from these readings today.